everybody, and welcome to the Real Madrid Hub. I am your host, Eric Rivera, and this is your spot for all things Real Madrid news. Well, Martin Odegaard is, as of today, officially a gunner, officially part of Arsenal. And what else can be said? In my personal opinion, I really think this was... I think the kid is talented. I mean, he's got talent and everything like that, but his mentality, his attitude, not cool, I think. In the end, it's like, why would you leave a club like Real Madrid to go to a club like Arsenal? And like I say, no disrespect to Arsenal. They have one incredible thing. They have done some great stuff in the past in the Premier League, but currently are not a top team. Essentially, they are not even... They have not made the Champions League. They have not made the Europa League. They lost their opening game against Brentford, who just recently got promoted. They're just not a team that's looking to be firing on all cylinders for real. And it's kind of sad that a prospect like Odegaard would prefer to go from Real Madrid, where people were really looking at him as a potential future star behind the likes of Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, who are getting closer to one day leaving the club and going to a place where, yes, he will get first team football, but will he really achieve many of the things that many people thought he would? Really, it's kind of a impatience and getting, essentially he wants more minutes. No problem there, but it's just kind of funny that happened that way. I mean, Real Madrid really made some good money off of Martin Odegaard in a way, though, because they paid him 3.5 million euros when they first acquired him at 16 years old. And essentially now he is going to Arsenal for 40 million euros, which would include the add-ons. And it seems like everything is going in the direction of him playing. The idea to do everything so quickly was because as I had mentioned, I believe yesterday and a few days ago as well, the Arsenal was really trying to get him as quickly as possible because they want him to be available against Chelsea on Sunday. Chelsea, of course, a very difficult matchup for Arsenal. Chelsea, of course, are European champions. They just won the UEFA Super Cup. They are on the backs of some very, very good results for the team. It is going to be a tough welcoming for Martin Odegaard if they put him in that team, if they line him up against Chelsea, but we'll see what he can do. But as of today, he is no longer a Real Madrid player. And, one of the things that I was reading, there was a lot of stuff about Valverde and how Valverde has fought for his spot. And he had some really great things to say, of course, about learning from players like Luka Modric and Casemiro and Toni Kroos, and that every day he was learning and why would he go anywhere else? Almost like a comment about Odegaard's situation, basically that, if you're patient and you follow, you essentially do... kind of your due diligence, you go through everything that you need to do and you go through your paces at Real Madrid, you will earn your spot if you play well enough, and if there's anybody that can really attest to that, it's Valverde, who has really grown at Real Madrid, and he's, at least one of my favorite players up and coming, and he's just a talent. It kind of, for me, it's a shame that Odegaard took this route. It's kind of it's a strange mentality of, just complacency. Like, no, I'd rather go to a team that's going to give me a lot of minutes. It doesn't matter to me that, I could potentially be with one of the greatest clubs in the world. But hey, that's his choice, I leave it with this. It's just that it was a really good quote from Jose Maria Gutierrez, better known as Guti. And he said, I could have left Real Madrid. I had many offers, but I decided to stay at Real Madrid because for me, it was more important to play just 30 minutes with Real Madrid than play 90 minutes on any other team. And well, who better to say than a legend like Guti? And really, Odegaard, I would say good luck. And, a lot of people were pulling for you. And, well, you're gone now. So that's moving on now to players that are part of Real Madrid or will be maybe one day. We are talking about Erling Haaland. Of course, everybody has been speaking of Erling Haaland. You know, he's been kind of, people haven't been talking about him as much because everything's been focused on, of course, Kylian Mbappé coming to Real Madrid, Leo Messi going to PSG, you know, all of those things, even Cristiano Ronaldo and the mentioning of his name, and then him coming out and saying, you know, trying to dispel all these rumors. So in a lot of ways, Haaland has just kind of been doing his business, and he's been doing it really, really well. You know, played the first opening game for the Bundesliga of the Borussia Dortmund against Eintracht Frankfurt, scored 2 goals, 3 assists, looked like an absolute beast. Then he played the German Super Cup, lost against Bayern. You know, still had a great game, but Neuer had an even better game, and it was basically a Terminator versus a Terminator essentially there. But you know, he just shows all the hunger, all the desire, his speed, his strength, his love of the game, his desire to win. I mean, he's on everybody. Everybody's looking at him as just this incredible player. He's only, you got to remember, the guy's only 21 years old, and he's just an absolute beast. I can't wait. Personally, I watch the Borussia Dortmund games because I really like to see this guy. You know, he just hustles like no other player I've seen really currently. You know, and the only people I can, you know, right now compare him to in that regard, when it comes to just absolute desire and how would I say, just passion and hunger to win, reminds me a lot of Cristiano Ronaldo, and a lot of people have made those comparisons to him. He has just been phenomenal, and of course he is in the sights of Real Madrid. Apparently he will be able, his clause, the clause that everyone talks about, that he could come to Real Madrid essentially at the end of the summer, the clause would be for 75 million euros. So a clause gets activated at the end of the summer, at the end of the season, essentially, that can be it will be activated, and it is for 75 million euros for him to leave the club. That means anybody that is willing to pay 75 million euros or whatever they're asking, or whatever more they want to offer him to convince him to go to their club, but they can get him away from Borussia Dortmund for those 75 million. Now, obviously, it's going to depend on where he wants to go, where his agent wants to go, and where his dad convinces him to go. Everything is looking somewhat in the direction, of course, of Real Madrid. That's what everyone is talking about, because Real Madrid, of course, has him in their sights. But Mino Raiola has actually met with quite a few teams in the last few months. And of course, on the same day, we all know that he went to both Barcelona and Madrid. And the other thing is, he will, of course, Mino Raiola has a good relationship with Joan Laporta. So a lot of, you know, even Kim Domenech from El Chiringuito was speaking about how Joan Laporta could possibly wait and try to bring him to Barcelona in the next season. Of course, that's all remains to be seen with if they can improve their financial situation, because Barcelona, as we all know, is not having a good time right now when it comes to their finances. But in 1 year, if stadiums open and things like that, and they have some success, you never know what they can do in order to get, you know, possibly bring him over. It seems a little far-fetched, but at the same time, you know, he's also looking. Chelsea has looked at him, although he's rejected at Chelsea's advances. And then his interest has always been in Real Madrid. So apparently, one of the people that work for Borussia Dortmund, which is Hans Joachim Watzke, also known as Aki. He is the general manager of Borussia Dortmund, has a good relationship with Real Madrid. So anything that happens around Borussia, even regarding Haaland, is kind of always filtered. The information is filtered to Florentino Perez. So we all know what happens. And this is all coming from Jose Felix Diaz from Diario Marca. These are the things that he's talking about, is that essentially there is mention, and you know, you guys have probably heard this, is that there is mention that that if the Mbappé deal doesn't come through, that Real Madrid could pull a 180 and try to go after Haaland. Well, Jose Felix Diaz kind of shuts this down a little bit because he's saying that the price is 75 million euros, like for the clause, correct? Which will be activated. At the end of the season, but it's never for it. Would the intention 100% for Borussia Dortmund is to keep him this season. So any move essentially to get him, let's say after Mbappe, if Mbappe does not come, will probably not work. This is Jose Felix Diaz saying that, because what they are doing at Borussia Dortmund is saying, if somebody wants him right now, they are basically kind of pricing him out of the market and saying that they would have to pay more than 200 million euros. So if somebody wanted Erling Haaland right now to get him away from Borussia Dortmund, they would have to pay or come with an offer of more than 200 million euros. Because the thing is, Borussia Dortmund is in no hurry to sell anyone, considering that they recently sold Jadon Sancho to Manchester United, and they got 100 million euros, a little bit more than 100 million euros for Jadon Sancho. So they're not in the need to get a lot of money right now or let go of their player right now, and more or less are trying to stick to their promise of letting him play for another year at Dortmund and then leaving next season, which was an agreement that they made when he first signed on to Borussia Dortmund. So that's kind of the news when it comes to Haaland. I don't know, according to Jose Felix Diaz from Marca, the possibility of us pulling a 180, and by us I mean Real Madrid, pulling a 180 and going after Haaland instead of Mbappe seems to be, he might end up becoming more expensive for us than even Mbappe is. So it seems like everything is kind of pointing to a 2022. If we don't get Mbappe, everything is pointing to a 2022 acquisition of both of these guys, if it's possible to pull off getting both of these guys and bringing them to Real Madrid. And for the last news of the day, well, of course, who would it be? My favorite player, essentially, of Real Madrid. Well, not my favorite player, because I have many favorites. Just so you guys know, in a personal note, my favorite player of Real Madrid is without a doubt Luka Modric. I named my son after him. But another player that I absolutely adore, that I absolutely love, and I got tons of respect for him is none other than Karim Benzema. Of course, he's just a 100% Madridista. Always, plays his heart out, very quiet, never makes noise, doesn't really, ever force his hand or try to renegotiate contracts or anything like that. He is just 100% on board to play with Madrid until the end of his days. And so right now it is announced that he will renew until 2023. The announcement should be coming shortly. It should be the rumors are essentially, or what has been announced by Luis Miguel from Diario AS. What he's talking about is that today they will most likely announce his renewal until 2023, which will basically prolong his contract a year further. So at the end, so we still have 2 seasons of Karim Benzema, till, this season, the 2021-22 season, and then the 2022-23 season. So we still got 2 more seasons of Karim Benzema if he just sticks to that contract. But most likely, if he continues to do and play the way he's been playing, he will stay. But Karim Benzema is an incredible player in the sense that, he's also on his contract. His contract, essentially the release clause, if any team wants to get him, is 1 billion euros. So if anybody wants to get him outside of his contract, it's 1 billion euros. Essentially, that's Karim and Real Madrid's way of saying this guy is Madrid's. And I think if we would look at it by like American terms, that means that this guy's like a franchise player. Like he is a Madridista 100%, And I love that about him, I think, and nothing, honestly, one of the things that I'm hoping, and this is another, personal editorial note that I would like to put in there, nothing would make me happier this season. And I don't know if you Madridistas agree with me, but now that Messi has moved on to PSG, and Cristiano is gone, nothing would make me happier than for Karim Benzema to finally become the Pichichi for La Liga. I would be so happy for this guy. I would be so happy for this guy if he were to become Pichichi of the La Liga. He already started well with 2 goals against Deportivo Alavés. Hopefully he can get some more goals against Levante this weekend. I mean, he's absolutely, I would just be over the moon happy for this guy if he got it. Benzema had already mentioned a couple of months ago to his representative that he trusts Madrid and Florentino Perez so that the renovation or the renewal of his contract would be simple. He has not tried to impose, extra years on his contract or more money. Even has come out and said, if the president of Real Madrid wants me to renew, my door is open. So he's always been open to staying. He's even said, as long as he feels fit, he will, 100% renew with Real Madrid. Even saying that if he doesn't feel fit, he would step aside, and most likely, a lot of people would say he would return to his home in Lyon and try to play for Lyon for his final seasons, because he would not want to be, he would not want to hold the team back if he felt he was no longer in shape to play. This guy is an absolute class act. Love him to death. I want him to do really well at Madrid. I want this to be a big season for Real Madrid, not only because, not only for Karim, but for Modric, for Bale, for Bale. I would like to have him have some sort of a redemption season and prove, a lot of people wrong. Hazard as well. Everybody to do well this season. And if we get Mbappe and we get that link up with him and Benzema, that would be even more beautiful. But so Benzema, just to leave a final note, Benzema's renewal today, if it is announced today, which is looking like it will be announced today, would be the 6th renewal in 2021. The players that have already renewed are, of course, Modric, Nacho, Carvajal, Lucas Vázquez, and Thibaut Courtois. Those are the players that have already renewed. We're also hearing, I think, Valverde, there's rumors that he's going to get an extension as well. And then, of course, Benzema. So that is the news I have right now for Real Madrid, guys. Thank you for listening, as always, to these, news notes that we are, constantly updating you guys with, especially with everything going on in the transfer window. We're trying to keep you up to date with all the information. So thank you again for listening to Real Madrid Hub. If you want all your Real Madrid news, if you want to get informed of Real Madrid news, make sure you hit the subscribe button to Real Madrid and get the notifications. Also hit the notification button so that anytime we release a video, I release one daily, and then JOTA will be releasing, he releases, 2 or 3 or whatever, and he tries to do sometimes some fast videos if news pops up. So we're always going to be there to give you guys some good information about what's going on at Real Madrid. And, we have a game against Levante this weekend, and the craziness continues with Kylian Mbappe. We're going to have to wait until the last minute to know for sure if it's a yes or no. I don't want to speculate anymore because I get too excited and then I get shot down. So, right now we're just reporting the news as it comes to us. But that's it, guys. If you want to get more information, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and stay locked here at Real Madrid Hub. People took this from different situations, because apparently it seems like the scene reminds me of the one where, if you have seen Scarface, and you haven't, if you're a young person, go see Scarface. It's a classic. But Scarface essentially is looking looking in a very serious way in a certain direction, and Manny is looking with him. Basically, I guess two friends. And I think at that point, people were saying that it was the part of the movie where Tony Montana asks his boss that he wants to leave and create his own business. Tony Montana doesn't really ever ask him to leave and create his own thing. He kind of fights with him and then ends up killing the guy, and then ends up creating his own thing. This scene, the one I think that they're showing, really, that Karim Benzema is showing there, is the scene where basically Tony Montana is about to lose it because he sees his sister dancing with another mob guy, and his brother, and Manny is also looking at his sister as well. But we all know he ends up, falling in love with Tony's sister, and that creates a whole other issue. But that's part of the movie. But it's basically, I think, in this case, I think what Karim Benzema is more trying to show is two brothers, two really close friends, being, you know, focused on one thing, which was, you know, at that moment, protecting his sister from this dude that was dancing with her. Then Kylian Mbappe uploads a picture where it seems he puts like two, I don't know, he has like two napkins or paper towels, or I have no idea, like sort of on his shirt, making sort of it looked like a lapel, similar to the lapel that Tony Montana and Manny are wearing in that picture. Oh my God. Speaking about this, I'm like thinking, man, you guys must be so annoyed and think this is so crazy that people like try to come up with some crazy ideas based on pictures that these guys are posting. They could be having fun, and they could basically be talking about the same thing and about, you know, them wanting to play together and joking about the whole situation. And then we think it's more serious than it is, when it could be just two friends probably talking about the situation, the negotiations between Real Madrid and PSG, but also just having a laugh at how crazy and serious it's becoming, and people like myself reading into this stuff like that, right? So anyways, guys, this thing got long, but it got long because there's so much stuff to talk about. But I hope you like this this quick, you know, this little news segment. Remember that you can catch all the news from Real Madrid here at Real Madrid Hub with my good friend JOTA and myself, Eric Rivera. We are posting videos daily. JOTA is always on top of things. So guys, make sure you stay tuned to this channel. Hit the subscribe button and then hit the like button. The like button, the little bell button, so that you guys get the notifications. Because if you get the notifications, you'll get updated constantly about everything we're posting. And, you know, JOTA does a really good job in the sense that he is really on top of the breaking news. So if something breaking does happen, he will report it and he'll jump in front of his camera and talk about it. So that is the news I have for now, guys. Thank you very much for listening, and make sure you subscribe here to Real Madrid Hub.